parents, were missionaries listening to all the China a long time ago. My grandmother was born in China, and so she's always had a love for it. I grew up listening to all those stories about her growing up in China, especially during when the Japanese were invading China. And she would tell me of the bombs dropping on and they would have to hide and stuff like that. She would tell me these stories. And so she's always had a love for the Chinese people. My dad's always had the love for the Chinese. My dad kind of joked about, once a week we would always have Chinese food. Every time I went to go see my grandmother, we always had one meal that was Chinese food. And we loved it. And so from an early age, we always had a special affection for the Chinese people. I remember one of my first memories. My dad travels a lot with Samaritan's Purse, and I remember my dad sending me a postcard, which he wrote home. This is before emails, when we had to write things. And so we would write it on a card and he mailed it to me. It was the Regency Hotel in Kowloon. It was a picture of that. And I still remember that. It's the only postcard my dad's ever sent me. Came from Hong Kong. And so, I don't know, there's a lot of things about Hong Kong, that I've always wanted to come, and also to China. I also believe that China is going to be, it already is a world superpower. But the economic center of the world is going to be coming to China. I think most of the world believes that. And so this is a great opportunity to come to see what God has in store for the rest of the world, using Hong Kong and China as well.
現時佢正積極協助佢父親葛福臨牧師處理轄下2間機構嘅業務。佢表示呢個係佢今次嚟香港嘅原因之一。
My dad's very busy. He runs 2 organizations, one called Samaritan's Purse and the other one's called the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. And that's one reason why we're here, is because of the Billy Graham Association has been invited to come and preach the good news in Hong Kong. And so my dad's really busy. I think he needs just help, just running the different organizations. And so when God called me to come and help my dad, I called my dad and said, Dad, I think the Lord wants me to come and help you. And we've been talking about this, but God never released me from my church. I was a pastor. And so then God called me to come and help my dad. So I went to go help my dad, and that's why I'm at the Billy Graham Training Center at Asheville, help running part of the ministry on a day-to-day basis. And but I also like to preach, so he lets me go out and preach once in a while. And Hong Kong's actually the first place that my dad and I have preached at the same venue. Hong Kong's the very first place that we've ever done that. So hopefully we'll have many more that we can do.
一提到響中國大陸傳福音，佢就坦誠希望有咁嘅一日，現正等候上帝開路。
Maybe one day. I want to go where the Lord sends me. And the Lord hasn't brought me to mainland China, that is. He's brought me to Hong Kong, but not to mainland China yet. And so maybe one day I'll have a chance. I don't know. We'll just see what the Lord has in plan. But I sure do love the Chinese people. And I've had a wonderful time here in Hong Kong.
He loves you. 佢愛你. Come, lay, come, lay.
Who do you say that I am? Lay.